And good morning and welcome to the Real Monica Adams Show. We are live on location at St. Charles Community College. We are going to have so much fun in this next hour. We're going to educate you and we're going to get ready for an electrifying morning at St. Charles Community College and their Entrepreneurial Symposium. Jeri Schultz is with me. John Wiemann is with me. We'll be talking to them in just a second. Interesting enough, I was listening to the news this morning and saw that there is an entrepreneur market for kids coming up tomorrow. How cool is this? It's like in the air out in St. Charles County because that one's going to be in St. Peters. We're not going to really do a lot of news you can use today because we want to get right into what we're talking about this morning. We have our own little entrepreneur. His aspiring meteorologist world is just really lit up here over the last year. You can follow Beckett Moore on YouTube and on X, and I encourage you to do so because he is the most accurate meteorologist that you're going to find. We have a segment that we started about a year ago, and it's a segment we call What the Weather.
Good evening from St. Louis, Missouri, and it is a beautiful one.
Yes, Beckett, good morning to you, first of all. You've got 3 for the price of 1.
Yeah, I know.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. I was just telling them about how incredible you are. So, Jeri and John, this is Beckett.
Welcome, Beckett.
Thank
Morning,
you.
Beckett.
You guys.
I highly encourage you to follow him. Trust me on this. When you want to know about the weather in Missouri and Illinois or all across the U.S., this is the guy to go to. So he is a freshman in high school. And he will blow away a lot of the meteorologists. Well, they'll see in just a second. Beckett, as we go into the weekend, I'm thinking it's going to be absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, it is. As we head into tomorrow, we're going to have a high of around 65, but on Sunday, 77 and sunny. Doesn't get much better than that.
No kidding. And it's Palm Sunday, so everybody's going to be all dressed up, going to church. But I think a lot of people want to know, what is Easter going to look like? Easter in the past, we've had rain. We've even had snow on Easter sometimes, but I don't think it looks like that. But this is the guy that knows. So Beckett, let me let you take it away.
Yes, so looking at the current conditions right now in St. Louis, we got a temperature of around 50 degrees, overcast skies, wind 8 miles per hour out of the north, and we have a sunset tonight at 7:34. Now, looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, we're going to continue to see those overcast skies as we head into noontime, 52 degrees at 12 p.m., 53 as we head towards 1 p.m. Tonight's forecast, 5 p.m., mostly cloudy skies, 56. Today, we will have a high of around 57 degrees, low as we head into 8 p.m., 10 p.m., 52, 47, and partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, we do get that sunshine to really rebound here in the St. Louis area, so it's not going to be extremely warm, but it is going to be sunny out there for your Saturday, 8 a.m., 41, 12 p.m., 57, and then as we head into 4 p.m., 63, and again, keeping those sunny skies throughout the day. Finally, that 7-day forecast, mostly cloudy skies again today, high of 57, low of 40 as we head into tonight. Again, warming up just a bit tomorrow to around average for this time of the year, high of around 64. Sunny skies again Sunday, going to be very nice for your Palm Sunday, 77 degrees as our high, sunny skies. Now we get more towards average, cool down a bit Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then as we head towards Holy Thursday, Good Friday, we are going to have a couple rain chances. But then towards Easter, I don't have this on this graphic, I do think it's not going to be rainy, but it's not going to be very warm. Around maybe 60 to 70 degrees, somewhere in that range is what it's going to be, and not very rainy, but not very warm.
That's good for the Easter Bunny. He's going to be hopping all around. I don't know about if he's going to have eggs out there. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. People are dyeing potatoes and marshmallows instead of eggs this year. I'm serious on this. Beckett, thank you so much. Any big plans for the weekend?
Well, I have a Scholar Bowl tournament tomorrow, and then it's Masters weekend as well, so I'm going to be watching that for sure.
Of course you are. He's a big golfer. You got to get out there and golf as well. Well, Beckett, thank you so much. Have an incredible weekend, and we'll see you Monday morning.
You too. See you then.
And everybody, I want you to follow him. Keep an eye out for him on X and on YouTube. He does a great job. And Jeri and John, by the way, those graphics he has, they were awarded to him because he is so incredible from the Weather Channel.
Wow.
He's been on Fox National. He's been on the Weather Channel. He's been on the Tamron Hall show, and I could go on and on and on. So yes, and he's from our area, and we're very proud to have him as part of our show. So by the way, good morning. If you're just tuning in and you're like, where are they? I'm going back to school. I'm getting yet another degree. St. Charles Community College is where we're going to be this morning, not only for the live show, but then we're going to talk about this symposium that I'm very proud, Jeri and my dear friend Dot, who introduced me to Jeri, asked me to be a part of this. So we'll talk about that for you coming up in just a second. Very briefly, I know John and I saw this in the news, a horrific helicopter crash. You saw the videos. There were so many different angles of this. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of news you can use. We'll talk about this because it is a big talker. This helicopter that went down, unfortunately, no survivors. There were adults and children, the pilot on board, and I saw about 5 different angles of it. John, you did as well.
Yeah, I saw a few. One showed the propeller was flying separately from the fuselage, and they both crashed into the Hudson. So
you didn't see this, Jeri, did you?
No, I did
It's
not.
hard to watch. I did share that yesterday on X, and prayers for all involved and those that knew them. Obviously, a lot of investigation ongoing, but there were different shots that were all over social media. One of them just spiraling straight down, and then I saw another angle where it was just spinning out of control, and then the rescue operations. So again, if you have not heard, that's one of the biggest talkers of the morning from a national standpoint. We're going to be talking about the Entrepreneurial Symposium. And Jeri, I was just mentioning, it's evidently in the water. What behind us in St. Charles County. We've got the Entrepreneurial Symposium that we'll talk about from last year and this year as well. But there's something going on. Did you know about this? There's a children's entrepreneur market that's going to be tomorrow in St. Charles County. It's in St. Peters. Do you know about this?
No, but we will find more about it after the show.
Yes, I mean, so this is the deal. It's at Whistle Stop 301 in St. Peters. You can shop from local businesses led by young entrepreneurs. So it's all about entrepreneurs today and throughout this weekend. So we'll talk all about that. Go Blues, go Cardinals. We are continuing to root them on. St. Louis City SC, by the way, in action this weekend as well. So a lot of fun things. If there's anything you're doing, you want to drop it into the comments, we'll keep an eye on that. And you can let the community know about what is happening in your neighborhood. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Jeri and John all about the Entrepreneurial Symposium, as well as what's going on here at St. Charles Community College. So don't go anywhere.
My house is so outdated and old. Can you help?
Let's take down this wall and add a support beam there.
Or just replace the furniture.
I love it.
New sofa, chaise lounge, and tables from Carroll House.
What about this bedroom?
Let's tear down this wall.
Or a new bed, dresser, and accessories.
It's like a whole new room.
Get free in-home design, fast free delivery, and free financing too. Skip the remodel. Add new furnishings from Carroll House for your new perfect room. Because you like nice things.
What a beautiful campus, eh? Yes. Welcome back. The Real Monica Adams Show on location live at St. Charles Community College. Let me introduce my guest. First of all, Jeri Schultz and I, we had dinner a couple of weeks ago and became very fast friends. So it was so nice to meet you. Jeri is the Associate Professor of Business Administration here. And then John Wiemann. John is the Vice President of SCC Operations. Both of you, thank you for having us here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
We've got so many exciting things to talk about in this next hour. First and foremost, I keep talking about this Entrepreneurial Symposium. Where did this whole concept come from?
It began with our president, Dr. Barbara Cavalier. She had an idea. We've expanded so much in the community with a lot of different projects. We have so many students that are starting their own businesses or have an interest in starting their own businesses. Community leaders have come to us, individuals who have wanted to start their own businesses. So she selected a committee that starts with adjunct faculty, full-time faculty, Vice President of Operations. And so we formed a committee almost 2 years ago. We meet every other Friday. We have lunch, we brainstorm. We had our inaugural program last year, which was very, very successful, and said, let's carry this on. So our second one is today. The community has responded. The campus has responded. Actually, we're at full capacity today. We couldn't take any more registrations.
Turning them away, Jeri.
There's an excitement on campus about this because we're bringing in speakers from all over the community on the other side of the river, from all diverse businesses, to include yourself, to share their experiences, but also to support the students, mentor the students, help the students start internships, start their businesses, and to learn how to be entrepreneurs inside their companies as well as start their own businesses. So this is an exciting endeavor, and it's going to continue over the next 5 to 10 years. So we're just starting, but it's exploding and it's exciting for all of us.
It is because, excuse me, when you asked me to be a part of this, I was like, I really love being an entrepreneur that they are doing this. I think if you look years back and you're looking at curriculum in different universities, I didn't really hear a push from an entrepreneurial standpoint. But John, you're seeing that more and more in life where people are saying, well, I think I'm going to be my own boss. What does that look like? What do I have to do?
Yeah, I think with this, the economy, the way it's changing, with AI and just more opportunities, I think, for people to be able to start their own businesses. Jeri didn't mention, but everyone that's on the advisory committee for the SEC Entrepreneurial Institute, which is a lot of things to say there.
I get tongue-tied.
Every one of us are all business owners or previous business owners. Not one person on that committee, well, maybe one person has not started their own company or companies. And so we have a lot of experience from that standpoint to help mentor and help others, students and people in the community, because it's not just for our students, but this is also for people in the community that have small businesses that maybe need some help with us providing some consulting services. So it's a great opportunity. But to your question, I think now more than ever, it's just a great opportunity to be a new entrepreneur and to grow your business.
And again, it's the steps leading you to that you need the guidance on. And that is what they have here, the program that they have here. I love that you just said that, John, because many times in life, people want to talk to someone who's walked the walk, talked the talk, so that you can say, oh, you do understand. Otherwise, if you're preaching it and teaching it and you haven't been in the trenches, then it's like, you don't understand what I'm going through. So let's actually give background on that. Jeri, tell them what you've been doing besides being an incredible professor, your own consulting aspect.
Yes, well, I started my own business actually last month, 25 years ago. And right after I started, 9/11 hit me hard. So I was prepared, I was funded, I had promoted and advertised. And so quickly, while companies were out looking for employees and I was helping them to attract, hire, and retain employees, that changed after 9/11. And so I had to create a new program and go out and promote myself to build my business to have an income. Fortunately for me, I was still teaching adjunct for a university, so that brought in income. So I wasn't worried about that, but I was concerned about where my future was because I had planned a 30-year career in this entrepreneurial business. So I wrote a program called Back on Track. I went down to the Business Journal with a box of candy to Ron Janicki. I remember the individual because I heard he liked candy, and he said, have a seat. He took the box of candy, and a week later, he gave me a full page in the Business Journal at no cost, and that bloomed my business back, and I continued to thrive with my business. Businesses wanted me to work with them. They liked the fact that I could change very quickly after a tragedy. And so here I am today still teaching and taking that into the classroom and all my other experiences and allowing my students to learn from me, but also to learn from the other speakers I bring in my class. We mentioned Dot Fleshman, who's a business owner, yourself, a business owner. So I bring those experts into the classroom. Besides the textbook learning, we have to give them more and mentor them and sponsor them in these situations.
Absolutely. Again, Jeri Schultz, if you're just tuning in, and then John Wiemann. John, what was your walk of life so that your students and the community understand, oh, he's been there too? Sure,
Monica. I tell people a lot of times you're influenced by your parents. And so as a young man, I was exposed to my father was an entrepreneur. He owned 3 or 4 businesses. And so I always thought that all dads and all parents had their own business. So when I got out of high school, that's kind of what I was interested in business and certainly was interested in politics. And so I that was my passion. My goal was to be a business owner at some point, and I was able to accomplish that. I had my own insurance brokerage business for 15 years, and then I eventually sold that a few years ago, and that's why I'm working in higher education. But so yeah, my background has been in business, been in entrepreneurship from the very beginning, and I have a lot of respect for, especially for people who start from scratch.
Yes.
You run across a lot of folks that are their own business owners, but maybe I always say they started on third base or maybe second base, and maybe they took over a family business, and that's great too. But I think I have a lot more respect for someone who starts from scratch, nothing given to them, and they have to make it happen.
Amen. But again, as you just mentioned, we're not saying that any of you in any part of that are any less or any more, but it is when suddenly you just feel like you're drowning and no one's throwing you a life preserver and you're just feeling like you're lost. And if you have the gumption and the go-get-it attitude of no one's going to stop me, that's actually a big part of my speaking today. So if you're going to be a part of it, welcome. Look forward to meeting you if you are coming. If not, be sure to be looking at our stories and reels later today as we'll do a little recap. But that's it, Jeri and John. It is when someone doesn't believe in you, do you believe in yourself enough to say, I'm going to go after this. I'm going to do this. If you're just tuning in, again, we are at St. Charles Community College. Beautiful campus, by the way. Let's talk about that because I was looking on your website and seeing construction, seeing what is to come, what is already underway, but what the future holds for you.
Yeah, since I'm in charge of construction, I can give you a lot of details, but I will tell you this. We're in a unique position, the college, St. Charles Community College, that we're able to make those investments. We've been very good about saving up our pennies and preparing for
I imagine John with a little piggy bank.
Yeah, we have a few pennies in the bank. But to that point, I mean, we spent $1 million expanding our technology building, updating it. We added esports. We added new computers. We have all kinds of new computer equipment and for just that technology. We're spending a significant amount of money to build a brand new campus, our new Regional Workforce Innovation Center out at our new campus in Wentzville called the Innovation West Campus. And that's going to be where all of our career technical education is going to occur, or at least a good portion of it. And that will come online. Hopefully in August we'll be up and running, and that's going to be a great. And matter of fact, I'll share this with you later, but this is information about that. And of course, then we're making investments in the current infrastructure. We're building a brand new accelerator program to help our students in our library. We're renovating our library. Library has changed. We have, believe it or not, libraries don't have a lot of books anymore. It's hard to believe, but and then of course. We're going to call it the Center for Immersive Learning. And so we're making a lot of investments to really kind of move into the next generation of education.
And we're looking at some of the video and the pictures that we're dropping in. How old is St. Charles Community College?
It was started in 1986, so 1986. It's 30 years plus.
So there's a lot of you that are watching, and here's what I want you to do. I'll look at the comments live as well. If we miss any, we'll look at it when the show wraps up. Be sure to comment with you. Ask any questions, make any comments. I've got Jenny moderating at home, dropping in links for you. But I want all of you to think, you've got kids, and when you have children and you say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? And if they don't know, it's okay. And so don't force them over to going to a 4-year college if they say, I'm not ready. Think about this. I went away my first year to Missouri Valley. I transferred to Mizzou, had a massive blood clot, which a lot of you know about, and I'll talk about this morning in our speaking engagement. Came back home and actually went to Florissant Valley,
awesome.
Right, for a couple of years, and then was taking all of my electives to transfer back to Mizzou. But if someone is undecided, it is very important to say, well, I don't want to take time off. I want to keep my education going, but let me see. And then you never know, because your path can be like this, that you're here, you're taking classes, and suddenly it ignites something inside of you to find your career, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And what's really important to know is that you don't have to be an entrepreneur and have your own business. I had trouble saying that word this morning. Maybe it's just too early for me. But you can work for a corporation and you can be an entrepreneur inside your corporation. For example, here, the president's allowed us within our committee to come up with really creative ideas on how to run this symposium and how to put it together. So we came up and brainstormed with ideas. We threw things out like out on the wall, on the whiteboard.
What sticks?
and if it stuck, it worked. And if it didn't, we didn't try it the next time. And we've added some new things this time. Having a podcast, meeting with you over lunch and saying, what can we do next? We first of all had you as a speaker. And then you said, well, what about a podcast? We said, well, sure, we'd love to have a podcast. How do we begin this? So everything is internal here, but we keep coming up with more ideas. And to sit with our president and with John and our chairpersons of our departments and say, what else do we need? Most of the time they say, let's go with it. Let's try it. Of course, we always say, how much will that cost? But that's an important part of it. But there isn't anything that they haven't said no to that isn't going to bring some visibility to the campus, to the enrollments, and to the community.
Again, if you're just tuning in, we are live at St. Charles Community College. We'll talk about some of the programs. I would like to know, when people are thinking of coming here, what are they most drawn to? What is, you just talked about cost, right? We're looking at our economy. The people don't look at your portfolios, by the way. I'm telling you, I keep telling you, don't look at your portfolios. Let it ride. So all of those things, and we'll talk more about last year's symposium, what's on tap today. I'm excited to meet the owner of Mellow Mushroom. Did she bring some pizza?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back more with Jeri Schultz and John Wiemann, myself, Monica Adams, live from St. Charles Community College when we return.
Well, hello, my friends. My name is John O'Leary. I was just on the Real Monica Adams show, and it was an amazing experience for me and hopefully for the viewers and listeners as well. What I found sitting down with Monica is the idea of being real is maybe something we use for social media or website or to separate us from others, but it may not be something you experience very often in the real world. Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with our viewers and our listeners. And through her authenticity and through her honesty and vulnerability, I followed. It was an incredible conversation. We were real about struggle, real about life, real about endurance, real about family, real about faith, and real about the truth that the foundation is firm, that God is still God, that there's reason for hope, and that the best is yet to come. So for those of us who occasionally struggle with being real or being filled with hope or being renewed in a season of struggle, I can't tell Monica and her viewers, listeners, and producers thank you enough for allowing me to be real during the hour together. So for this time, and until next time, my name is John O'Leary. Today is your day. What a gift it is. Live inspired and stay real.
Well, welcome back, and thanks again for tuning in live this morning on the Real Monica Adams Show. If you watch this later, just do a little hashtag replay so we can comment and answer your questions. I was looking at the comments. Dot, you're hilarious. She said, Jeri and Monica together is like TNT. But when we include John, we really explode.
Chopped liver here.
Exactly.
High five.
If you are just tuning in, Jeri Schultz again and John Wiemann joining me. We are talking about St. Charles Community College. I went to the break saying, what are people most drawn to from a program standpoint? What's the cost factor? I'm excited about, from an agricultural standpoint, I have a dear friend that is a James Beard nominee, and he was talking about what you have on campus here if you're a foodie, you need to know about this. But first of all, I'll let that go to both of you. Program-wise, what are students most drawn to when they think about coming to St. Charles Community College?
Yeah, we have a lot of programs. As a matter of fact, we had too many programs. We had to kind of pare them down. But one of the more popular ones are our traditional ones: the business school, some of the traditional professions that you would go into if you wanted to transfer to a four-year institution. But now our nursing program, which has been around for quite a few years now, is one of the top programs in the state.
Fantastic.
We have 100% pass rate on their national tests that they have to take, state tests. So it's one of the top programs, and we have waiting lists for our nursing program.
Wow.
We have occupational therapy assistants. We have just a variety. And now with our career technical education coming on, we believe that's going to be even more popular as well. But so yeah, we have a lot of opportunities for students that are exploring and looking to expand their education.
Absolutely. And so if they're thinking of this, or parents are watching and saying, oh, well, wait, I didn't even think that maybe I need to put St. Charles Community College on the map for my kids. What is the cost that they would be looking at?
Yeah, we have one of the lowest. We're actually, I think, the third lowest in the state as far as community colleges. It's around $113 per credit hour, as opposed to like Mizzou, where I went to school. Alumni. MIZZOU.
Thank you.
It's around $400 or $500 a credit hour or more, depending if you go to WashU and some other schools. And then if you take in consideration the A+ program, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but that's a scholarship program the state of Missouri funds for students high school students that meet certain requirements. They can actually come to any community college in the state for basically free tuition.
That's amazing. Again, think about this. So before you go off to a 4-year college, why don't you come here and then you can continue on from that standpoint. I'll mention this in just a little bit, but you've got to, I don't know if we have any pictures of it. Zach, are there any pictures of their kind of like farm, field to farm?
Field to table?
Field to table. About this, you have to, because a dear friend of ours told me about this a couple of years back, and he said, you got to go check that out. So I was looking at the pictures online. Yeah. How long has this been in existence?
Since 2019.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I was briefly in charge of that campus, and so I know a lot about that area. But yeah, our Field to Table Institute, which is really a separate program from our culinary program, which our culinary program, they're kind of blended together with them. But our culinary program is bursting at the seams. As a matter of fact, we're building another building, which I forgot to mention, another building right next to it where we're going to have a cafe, a market, which will give a retail interface with the community and for our students, and have additional classrooms for our culinary program and our ag program. But we have our freight farm, which is the vertical farming indoor with that's pretty neat to see. So yeah, there's lots of great things happening there on that campus, on our Garden Creek campus.
And here's the thing, there are more and more people going into the food industry. We just had the nominations for the finalists for James Beard. We've got James Beard award-winning chefs here. I've got a friend that she got the semi-finalist from the beverage standpoint. So more and more, sommeliers are getting notified, are getting noticed for this. So there may be people that are listening right now that are saying, I want to go into that idea as well. If you are just tuning in, you're like, who are Monica's guests? Again, Jeri Schultz, and we mentioned this in the beginning. Jeri is the Associate Professor of Business Administration, and John Wiemann, the Vice President of SEC Operations. The website, by the way, if you want to go online, we'll put that up for you. Also, where you can follow from a social media standpoint. Let's talk about the symposium from last year. What were you most proud of? And then what did you say you wanted to build on for this year?
So you stepped in, but we were most we were most proud of the audience that turned out for a first entrepreneurial symposium. That the individuals that were so interested and the questions that they asked, and to top it off, the speakers that we had. We brought a very diverse mix of speakers, from a jewelry industry to owning their own businesses, to Carson Quinn, who was one of our very own students. I have to brag on him a little bit.
I want you to.
I'm in the classroom. I ask students if they've ever been in business. He owns his own business. He just purchased a truck for $4,000. He had about 40 gentlemen working for him, and they go throughout St. Peter's, Lake St. Louis, St. Charles, and he cleans residential trash cans. Now, that sounds pretty basic, but that's a lot of hard work. He manages his budgets very well. He makes a lot of money doing this, but he works very, very hard. He graduated from the CAPS program in high school. Then he came here to get his 2-year associate degree, which he'll be graduating soon. And on top of that, he's a phenomenal presenter. He got up on stage that day and just wowed the students and the other adults in the room, but really encouraged young people to say, you need your degree, but you also need to come up with a concept, an idea, a patent on whatever you're doing. How he did it, he got an attorney, he had a financial person. He's already been on channels 2, 4, and 5. So that was the morning. It was high energy. And then we topped it off with inviting Leo Anglo with Vincent's Jewelers, one of the managers and part owner of Vincent's Jewelers. And he stepped up on stage and talked about networking and mentoring. And just for a gift, he threw out a question, and those who participated in his activity, he gave out 3 $100 bills to the students in the audience, which sort of added the razzmatazz to the entire program.
Absolutely. I thought you were going to say he was throwing diamonds out.
He's throwing diamonds out.
He did give away diamond earrings, didn't he?
Wouldn't that just be wonderful?
Yes, it would.
So it far exceeded our expectations. I would say, based on what we learned from the program and the post evaluations, we didn't have a negative comment from that program, which is very good for our first try and inaugural program. Not one negative comment. So going from that, we said this one has to be even better. So we've really put the bells and the whistles to that, so that for the one coming up in the fall of the year, which we've decided we're going to have one in the fall, and then we've added a certificate program. So those who attend today, they will receive a certificate, and we'll go into those details later on in the program. So there's a certificate program tied to this Entrepreneurial Symposium.
Fantastic. And from the standpoint of speakers that are chosen, how do you go about that? Whoever was chosen last year, who was chosen this year?
So last year, we just came together and put out names of individuals we knew in St. Louis and outside of St. Louis who might be willing. And so we decided as a team who those individuals would be. This year, we sat down and basically did the same thing. What would take us up another level and in different categories of business. And John, you might take into that.
Monica, to that question, the advisory committee, we sat down and talked about names. We're all former business people or currently in business. And so we know a lot of people in the community. And so we just start kind of going through and say, I knew Tammy Hilton, the owner of Mellow Mushroom. I'm like, how about have her as a speaker? She'd be a fantastic speaker. And just, each one of us kind of contributed different names of business owners that we knew in the community that were entrepreneurs. And that's how we kind of came up with the list. And then, of course, through referral, thing along that lines.
Well, and again, as Jeri and John just mentioned, to have any kind of event, you always sit down afterwards, do the little high five. Oh my gosh, that was a lot of work and we did this right. Let's toast everyone. And then what can we improve on? What can we do better? I love the fact that you said there were no negative comments. This whole show is about positivity and inspiration and motivation, but what can we do better? Always leveling up. You now have a packed house today. How many people are going to be here this morning?
A little over 200.
Over 200 RSVPs.
Wow.
Yes.
The fire code only allows us about 200 people, so.
Nobody else come wandering in the room. All right, we're going to take another break. Again, we are live at St. Charles Community College. If you have any questions, what I would really love is if any of you attended St. Charles Community College, or maybe you are here right now. If you watch later, we'll look at those comments later, because I know a lot of you are running around heading off to your own jobs, or you're running around taking the kids off to school so they can be our future leaders. We'd all love, though, to hear those special comments of how your life changed. And we'll share some more of those here this morning, live, again, from St. Charles Community College. Don't go anywhere.
This lady got me in the best shape of my life. I literally didn't know that I could be in shape like that. But the amount that she pours into her clients, and especially whenever you get the one-on-one training, it's mind-blowing. It was really life-changing. I learned so much about proper form, about nutrition, about just being able to invest in myself. I hired Monica to be my personal trainer, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
back. Again, we are live at St. Charles Community College this morning, the Real Monica Adams Show broadcasting from here. And you might hear a lot of noise in the background. That's because they are getting ready for the big Entrepreneurial Symposium. We are visiting again this morning with Jeri Schultz and John Wiemann. The team is excited here. They want to get ready. There's 200 plus people that are going to be hearing these speakers. We are excited, definitely, on so many levels. So again, if you are signing on and you're like, oh, I went there. John and I were just talking about, he said, I love the fact that you have a background in going to a community college. Absolutely. Learned so much, took all of those credits, and then transferred on. And that's what we want you to think about, whatever your decisions are right now. Again, you might have kids at home that are in high school trying to figure out and navigate where they want to go. There are so many programs that you can find. The website, again, is where I would love for you to go and check that out. Follow them also on social media and look at what they're doing right now and then what is to come. So there are so many levels of what it takes to put these types of programs on together. You were just mentioning one story, Jeri. John, from walking the halls with all the different students, what do you hear from them? What are they most excited about, the buzz that's going around campus right now?
Well, I think the opportunity to attend an event like this, meet people who, real people that are in the trenches that are doing the things that they're maybe interested in doing. And I think that's what excites them about it. Plus, they might be getting a little extra credit from their classes. I don't know who might be offering that, but there might be a few professors giving them some incentives to attend as well.
So you just handed this to me. So St. Charles Community College Reimagined, let's get to work. What does that mean?
So really, that one of the big things that our president, Dr. Cavalier, really emphasizes, she wants us to be innovative. She wants the college to be thinking ahead into the future. And so that's the whole idea of us doing the Entrepreneur Institute, doing things to be more innovative in the education world and be more of value to the students the new students that are coming in that are looking for something different than just a traditional education.
Jeri, you've been in education for how many years?
43 years.
And you've seen a lot. You've been around a lot of students. What is most exciting for you for the time that you've been here? What do you see? Again, talking about the buzz again that you're excited about?
That the students are excited about anything we bring to them. Any speaker we bring to them, any extra ideas we bring to class, skill practices, role plays. It's not just putting up a PowerPoint anymore because they will fall asleep during that PowerPoint. So activities, sometimes I'll just pick up the phone in class and I'll call an executive and I'll put them on speaker and I'll say, 4 of my students have questions and I don't have that answer. Really, I have the answer, but I'd like that executive to speak. And I might be calling my friend in Washington, D.C. to give them their thoughts, or we might put them on a Zoom meeting. They're excited to be here because most of the faculty, if not all of that, we're engaged and we're really committed to our topic area. The faculty, all of us, we're in the halls and we're talking to one another about everything. They're all excited on campus about this Entrepreneurial Symposium. Even if they're in the science department, they're patting us on the shoulders. They're telling the students you have to be there. Students were still writing last night wanting to register, but we can't fit them in. So, we're telling them, it's going to be videotaped and you can watch it afterwards. It's not just about the points. It's about being here today and what should they wear. So there's a thing on this campus.
The soft skills.
The soft skills.
Learning the soft skills. You can't learn it online.
Right.
You
the
have
students
to
are
be,
really, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, the students are really connected to the faculty here. They find a bond with us. They stay in touch with us after they graduate, and they ask for help when they're applying to other schools, and they ask for us when they're applying for jobs. And so we help them through the whole interview process, and we work along with career services to help them do that.
So it's funny, John, you just mentioned soft skills. I've spoken to so many students of all different levels of life, and I always say, these are the things that no one's going to teach you. You have to remember every level as far as walking in to, if you're even able to get that job interview, right? What are you doing with your resume? How have resumes evolved over the years? What are you wearing? That's the biggest thing. And my mom and I just had this discussion the other day. You and I love fashion. It looks like John does as well. I'm very big into it. But I go everywhere and I'm just like, don't you understand first impressions? Yeah. Those soft skills matter so much as right up there with the educational aspect.
Well, Monica, when I first started here 2.5 years ago, I would go out and meet with companies and ask them what are they looking for, and they kept saying, well, we need workers that have soft skills. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, we need people to know how to talk, you know how to communicate, show up to work on time. I'm like, really? That's what you're needing, and and seriously, they're really wanting people who are able to do that. And unfortunately, students, younger students, they're on their phones all the time, texting. They're not engaged with other people. And so that's another reason why we're having this event, because it gives them an opportunity to come here, dress professionally, meet other professionals, and learn those skills that they're going to need in the workforce.
And hopefully that's getting better. You know, a lot of us talked about what happened during the pandemic, and a lot of students had to learn from their Zoom screens, and then they lost the socialization skills. Back together, I do believe it's getting a little bit better. I hope so. They need to learn to speak. They need to have eye contact, all of these things. But it has changed. Let me ask this, because what we are seeing in the world right now is so much AI, technology driven, so much changing. How do you see that as positive and maybe struggle?
I'll take that one.
Take the academic side.
I'll take the academic side. I've told my students that AI is good. And if we can use ChatGPT and other sources to help us get through a course in an ethical way, and I provide examples, what's a good paper and what's a bad paper. And I don't see a lot of high percentages when they turn into paper, then that's a good sign. And where it's bad is when you wait until the last minute and you try to use it.
And AI do my paper for me.
And do my paper for me. We're smart enough here as faculty members that we can see those things. So the best part of this is we can teach them up front and in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, how to stay away from that and how to really use it to their benefit. Even if sometimes I just can't come up with an answer to something or how to write a speech, ChatGPT will give me that word. I used the word pivotal in something the other day, and I think it was something I sent to you, and I used the word pivotal. I went, I haven't used the word pivotal. That sounds so,
the word
articulate.
Of the day.
The word of the day. I'll probably use it for the next month. So we're all trying to teach them how to use it in a positive way, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing for me as a faculty member, and it's working, and we have to work harder at it because it's such an easy tool to use for all of us, whether we're in business or whether they're in their classroom, to say, nobody will know. Nobody will know that it's not my speech. Nobody will know that it's not my paper. But we all do find out, and I don't want to turn in something that's not my work as Jeri Schultz to find out that somebody else wrote that same program.
Again, this is going to be a big day. I know. This is going to be a big day. I hope you all can hear us okay with all of the excitement that's getting ready to take place. So at 8 o'clock, which we're about 15 minutes away from, people are already gathering. There are 200 plus people that are going to be a part of this symposium, a lot of speakers. Before we do our wrap up, John, tell us from a community standpoint, how are you engaging? How can people get involved? What are the partnerships and the collaborations that are forming?
Yeah, the community college has been very engaged in the community for a long time. We have been in partnership with General Motors, which has a huge plant out in Winsville for over 30 years. And so we have programs that we do with them for help for employee training and whatnot. We work with a lot of other companies in St. Charles County and around the area to help them with their workforce development. And of course, that's one aspect. We're involved with the Chamber of Commerce, where, as an organization, we believe it's important that we help make this economy grow and prosper. And we're important to the community as well, because when companies are coming into Missouri to look to expand, one of the things they want to ask is, what kind of educational opportunities do you have? And when we can brag about, we have St. Charles Community College and Lindenwood University in St. Charles County, that's a huge plus for our region.
Absolutely. We're going to take one final break. And then when we come back, I saw something I know that Zach put together for us. There is an event coming up, a dinner, actually on May 9th, a culinary and wine symposium. So
yes.
Let's talk about that, and then we'll give you all the information for you to consider. Maybe you want to come here, you want to get involved in some way. For all of that, you can go to their website and on their social media pages. All right, we'll take one final break, and then we'll wrap up here at St. Charles Community College. We'll look at your comments as well, so don't go anywhere.
Monica's show brings positiveness to the world. She brings positive vibes to the community, and she's in there to help everyone. I really feel this was a calling for me to come to this show and to work with Monica. I've been following her for a long time. She always has a bright outlook on everything, and the people that she brings together, that's what this is all about, is bringing people together, and this is the best platform that I could even think about using to do so.
Carroll House has the furniture you're dreaming of.
For big family gatherings, for entertaining friends, or just hanging out.
For working from home or resting after work.
For kids growing up, or young adults moving out.
Whether you're updating your first home, your next home, or your dream home.
Whatever the reason you're shopping, we have the furniture you're dreaming of at Carroll House.
Because you like nice things.
And welcome back again. We are live this morning at St. Charles Community College doing the Real Monica Adams Show with Jeri Schultz and John Wiemann. A couple of questions came in and comments. Audra and Diane was just mentioning what we were talking about, John, soft skills, she said, so very important. A firm handshake, looking in the eye, communicating, speaking for yourself, finding your voice. Very true, Diane. Thank you for that. And then Audra said, I don't know a lot about St. Charles Community College, but here's a question she wanted to know. Are there programs in the fashion industry?
I'm not aware of any.
I will check into that, but I don't believe we do. I know we have a design department and a creative department, and I know we have a theater department, but I'll find out.
Because that is so huge. We talked about the food standpoint, and they're doing so much from that, agricultural and many levels of the food industry, but fashion. So many people saying, I want to go into fashion. And so before they really find their way, that might be a program you need to add. Audra's like, yes, please. Okay, but when we went to the break, Culinary and Wine Symposium dinner is coming up May 9th. Tell me a little bit more about that.
You've got that
Well, I believe that's the one that our SEC Foundation is hosting. They do that every year. It's kind of a fundraiser event out at the Field of Table Institute. So I'm not sure if there's any more spots available. You have to go online and check and see. It's a that usually gets sold out pretty fast. So I would encourage you to go online and see if there's any tickets available. So it's a pretty popular event.
All right, again, we are talking about so many levels of what St. Charles Community College is able to offer to you right off of Mid Rivers Mall Drive, Cottleville Parkway. If you've never been, maybe you want to take a drive and visit the campus. If you've got students and you're saying, I didn't even think about that. Maybe that's something that we do when they're truly trying to find their way. Before we wrap up and we get ready for this, because again, it's getting loud in here. I don't want you to miss anything. Anything that we didn't get a chance to talk about that you want to before we have to wrap up?
Go ahead, Jeri.
I would just like to say for all of you that are watching, if you want to come out here, I will visit with you. So call ahead. I'll give you 314-503-2318. You can call me direct, and I'll find a time to meet with you and take you around to departments and introduce you to some of the faculty and some of the students, or you could sit in on one of my classes. So I'll throw that out there and make it personal to you. We'd love to have you out here.
Fantastic, John and I. We're going to wrap up because it's getting loud in here.
I would just say, you know what, come out to the campus and check us out. You certainly go on our website, learn more about us, but this is a great opportunity for people. We have all kinds of events going on throughout the year. So, this event's not the only event we're doing. We're doing a lot more activities, and so I would say take advantage of those when those come up.
Fantastic. Obviously, everybody's excited. So we're going to let them get checked in, registered, be looking at at my social media pages. We are right now live on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, Rumble, LinkedIn. If there's a platform we're not on and you want us to grow to that, just let us know. Don't forget to always also listen. We have a podcast at the top of the talk show that drops every Thursday morning. So we always take a really powerful show from the week and then we turn that in the audio podcast. So be sure to follow that. And do one great thing. Subscribe. Follow and subscribe and share this with everyone. If you watch later, do a little hashtag replay and then we'll comment. Jeri, Schultz, John Wiemann, thank you so very much for being a part of the show. And we're excited for what you're hearing behind us. All of you that are watching this morning, you can be anything you want to be. Believe in that. But before you're anything, be kind. God bless you all. Have a beautiful morning.